Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we've got a really fun and clever story from the court of the great Emperor Akbar and his super wise minister, Birbal. It's a story about a man who had amazing dreams, a very grumpy minister, and a really important lesson. So let's get started. So first up, let's meet this guy, Shataruddin. He was a minister in the emperor's court who was, kind of always grumpy. And he was so jealous of the clever Birbal. He spent pretty much all his time thinking up ways to get Birbal into trouble. Shataruddin wanted Birbal's job more than anything. He wanted to be the emperor's #1 advisor. Then one day, a very strange man showed up at the palace, and Shataruddin thought, maybe this guy's the answer to all my problems.
This man's name was Sundar Subnai, and boy, did he have a story to tell. He told everybody that his own village kicked him out because, get this, every single dream he had came true. He said his dreams could actually predict the future.
You can just imagine Shataruddin's eyes lighting up, right? He's thinking, this is perfect. If this guy can see problems before they happen, the emperor won't need Birbal anymore. So he didn't waste a second. He brought Sundar right into the royal court to meet the emperor.
All right, so to get a job, Sundar had to prove he could really do this. And for his very first test, he made a prediction that made everyone in the court kind of scratch their heads.
Sundar looked all around the fancy hall and said super confidently, "In 1 minute, every single one of you, and yes, that includes you, Your Majesty, will lift your feet right off the ground." Everyone kind of chuckled. How could that possibly happen? But then, just a few seconds later, wouldn't you know it, a tiny little cockroach came scurrying right across the shiny palace floor, and all these very proper, calm ministers and courtiers, they started shrieking and jumping.
And just like that, Sundar was right. The emperor, the ministers, you name it, everyone hopped up onto their chairs, lifting their feet to get away from that one little bug. His first prediction came true. Wow, the emperor was completely amazed. He just couldn't believe it. He decided to give Sundar a chance and offered him a job on the spot as the night guard for the main palace gate.
So Sundar was now the official palace guard and dreamer. But his next prediction, it wasn't about a funny little bug. It was about something way more serious.
The very next morning, the emperor was all dressed and ready to go on a big royal hunt. But Sundar ran up to him, looking super worried. "Please, Your Majesty, don't go," he begged. "I had a dream that a ferocious animal is going to attack you in the forest today."
The emperor stopped to think about it. And at that exact moment, who comes running into the court but our grumpy friend Shataruddin? His clothes were all messy and he was yelling, "Don't go to the forest! I was just there, and a ferocious, terrible mouse attacked me."
A mouse. I know, right? Everyone was stunned, but they totally believed it. Sundar's dream had come true again. He had saved the emperor from a tiny, but apparently very, very ferocious forest mouse. Sundar was a hero.
So the emperor was incredibly grateful. He was ready to give Sundar a bag of gold, maybe even Birbal's job. But wait a minute. Birbal, the wise minister who had been watching this whole thing happen so quietly, finally stepped forward to say something. Now, you'd think Birbal would say, "The dream isn't real." But no, he didn't question Sundar's power at all. Instead, he just asked one simple but incredibly clever question. Birbal's logic was just so perfect. He turned to Sundar and asked, "Sundar, the emperor gave you the job of night guard. Your whole job was to stay awake all night and watch the gate. So, how exactly did you have a dream?" See what he did there? Birbal made it crystal clear for everyone. To have a dream, you have to be asleep. But Sundar's one and only job was to stay awake. He hadn't been a guard at all. He had been sleeping on the job.
And poof, just like that, with one simple question, the whole court went silent. Everybody finally understood what had really happened. So, yeah, his dream turned out to be helpful, but that wasn't the point, was it? He had completely failed at the job he was given. The emperor hired a guard, not a dreamer. Sundar was actually a lazy guard.
Sundar looked down at his feet, totally ashamed. He knew he had made a huge mistake. The emperor could see that Sundar had learned his lesson, so he didn't fire him completely, but he gave him a much different and way less important job to do. And all of this brings us to the wonderful lesson of the story. It's an old saying that goes, "Whose work, his pride." It basically means that whatever your job is, no matter how big or small, you should do it the best you can and be proud of it. Your work is important.
So, thinking about our story, what's one important job that you have every single day? Maybe it's cleaning up your toys or helping set the table for dinner, or maybe it's just doing your homework. Whatever it is, remember Sundar the Dreamer and always try to do your special job the very best you can.